Greetings, football fans.
This is the ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network.
Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
Are you ready for some football?
Here we go, Monday, August 25th, 2025. Are you ready for an all-new season of Trojans Live?
Welcome to Trojans Live.
The exclusive USC Trojans Coaches Show.
Mayava back in, winds and throws. Jacoby Lane again. That's his second touchdown catch. Catches it at the goal line, steps in, and that's a big how do you do.
Behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student-athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold.
To Jackson, and Jackson's in the end zone for a touchdown. USC. How do you do?
Trojans Live is presented by Monster Energy. Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
Unleash the beast. USC football gets ready to kick off the 2025 season.
And on this first episode of Trojans Live, as we return for another football season, we'll talk to Coach Lincoln Riley, and we'll get you ready for Saturday at the Coliseum. Week 1 for our Trojans as they host the Missouri State Bears. Let's do it, Trojans Live, on this Monday, August 25th, right now.
Live from Los Angeles.
Now live from Heritage Hall, here are Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, and Cody Kessler.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, a new season presented by Monster Energy on ESPN LA 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. I am Jordan Moore, back with my favorite people, the All-American Shaun Cody, the quarterback Cody Kessler, and our head coach Lincoln Riley. USC's head coach interview is presented by iTrust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Coach, you head into year 4. When I say that, does it sound like a long time? Does it sound like you just got here? What do you think of when I say year 4?
That's gone by. It's gone by quickly. It has. It doesn't feel like that long to me, to be completely honest. People have brought that up. You kind of hear at the beginning of the year. You start to reflect a little bit on it. It's been a fun few years, but this is typically when it gets really fun. So excited to be here and excited about the team and opportunity coming up this season.
Coach, training camp wraps up, getting into week 1 here. What'd you learn about this team in training camp? Every year, obviously, is a new year with each team. You got a different set of characters to work with. What'd you learn during training camp about this squad?
Oh, a lot. I think you felt the impact of I think Tremaine Carroll, on our strength staff, job they did with our guys, and pretty short notice, right? A couple of months' work. I felt that was apparent in some of the details, just kind of the discipline within the team. I thought was coming in was in a really good place. I thought we were really consistently competitive during camp. We really never had that day where you got to drag it out of them. You got to go, really motivate them. You could tell they're not really ready to practice. That day just never really showed up, which I thought was pretty cool. Typically it does.
I thought those days were manufactured by the coaches, like, oh, we're going to have one of those days.
Yeah, I'm trust me, I'll jump on one of those easily, but like we really, they never really gave us the opportunity. It was, and I think a lot of that is just the competitiveness of the group, the depth. There's so many different position competitions going on, whether it's who's going to start or, who's going to rep, or it's just every room, it's just like competition all over the place. So I think guys, just you're not able to fall off. If you do that the other guy's going to separate from you. So, and then I would say the lines of scrimmage just continue to get better. They continue to feel different. There continues to be more depth, more talent, more size. And that's kind of been a build each year. But I would say you certainly felt a difference on the line of scrimmage.
Coach, I'm sure you and Jay Mayava spent a lot of time together this offseason, watched a ton of film, did some self-scouting. What's the most important thing he needs to improve on going into this year to take that next step at the quarterback spot?
Oh, it's honestly tough to narrow it down to one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just his decision-making and situational decision-making is probably the biggest thing, and I think that's already started to show up throughout spring and certainly here in the fall camp. I mean, I think he's not just out there trying to run plays anymore. I mean, I think he has a much different understanding than he did a year ago on, why we're doing things, on, how his decisions are going to fluctuate depending on the situation and where we're at, and understanding when we can afford to take chances and be really aggressive and times where we don't. And his overall feel for not just the offense, but like playing the game, kind of through the offense, I like to say is just in a very, very different place. And so, that's part of the growth that we expected and challenged him and ourselves as coaches. And fall camp, it's been pretty high level quarterback play.
You're listening to the head coach Lincoln Riley on Trojans Live. Coach, one of the things you guys have been really good at doing in the last 3 years is flipping over the running back room and still having an elite guy. But it's been a new guy each of the last 3 years. It'll likely be a new guy this year, although you do have some returner in there. What does this room look like? Has there been like an alpha dog that separated himself like what he did last year, or do you envision maybe more role-oriented backs? What does that room look like?
Yeah, I think it'll unfold a little bit as the season goes on. I think I think Wayman Jordan will be the guy that trots out there first. I think he's been the most consistent and the most, I think you'd probably say, well-rounded back from. And obviously, we're excited to see those guys live. You know, then this modern day football, whether NFL or college, you don't have the opportunities to go live nearly as much as we all used to. And so, obviously at that position, that's probably the toughest one to evaluate without going live offensively. So, but Wayman's been really productive. We're eager to see him. There's a lot of production at the college level already that this guy's had, and Eli Sanders, I think, has had one of the strongest training camps of any player at any position. He had a good spring, but he's had a great training camp. So I think his experience, his explosiveness is definitely going to factor in for us. And then I think, Brian Jackson obviously returning is a big deal. Everybody's seen the power, the size, and I think he really adds that to this room. And then I think the two guys that maybe a little bit X factors in the room, King Miller has just continued to impress. I think his yards per carry in our practice is the highest of anybody in the room. It just feels like he rips off a big run or two almost every single day. And then we'll see how it plays out with Harry Dalton. I mean, Harry is certainly one of, if not the most physically gifted back in the room. He's a young guy that's trying to figure it out and is learning, but has some high upside as well. So yeah, I think, I'm pretty excited about the room. We've had some good rooms, as you referenced. I'll put it this way: I'll be disappointed if it's not the best room that we've had since we've been at SC.
Those are big statements. Obviously, you talk about running backs. You gotta look at the big guys who are creating those holes for him, Coach. A new coach and not a new face, maybe, in Coach Hansen. He's stepping in there for you. You got some transfers in, some transfers out. Obviously, Elijah Page at that left tackle position, but then maybe a lot of position battles kind of going on. The Winfield situation. What's that group look like? Is that something that's going to be going into the season? Kind of we're figuring out, or solidify positions as you go into week one here?
Well, I think it's definitely started to solidify. Certainly play with with Elijah at left tackle. With Alani at right guard. I would imagine we'll end up playing both the center some, both Killian O'Connor and John Ray Reed. Tobias Raymond is certainly going to start. He gives us some position flexibility, as does Justin Tanu. I think those two are likely starters for us, and now it's starting to work through sort of just some of the different potential lineup changes. And again, having a few guys that do bring major position flexibility has been great. Micah Banuelos, I think, is right there on the edge. I'd put Kalen Miller, King's brother, right there on the edge of it too, that are definitely in kind of that top group that can go in there and play, no doubt. And then I think our development of guys like Hayden Treater and Vicona, Aaron Dunn, Makai Sena, like that is going to be really critical, because at some point you're going to need these guys. And they're showing up, like they all shown some ability here in the beginning. And I think the in-season development of those guys and getting a couple of those guys ready to go in and be quality backups and be ready to play meaningful snaps will will go a long ways.
Yeah,
in
when they're making some noise on scout team over there, then you can say, hey man, when those starters don't want to go them against scout team, they're making the right steps.
Then that's all right.
Coach, some very good returners on both sides of the football, but one that I'm sure everyone's excited about is number 7 back there at that safety spot. How important is it to have Kamari Ramsey back on the defensive side of the ball?
I think it's really important, especially when you look at all the turnover in the secondary for us. Again, our most experienced defensive player in terms of this system. Obviously, one of our most productive defensive players. The stability, the playmaking ability coming back in the secondary was very, very important. And then I think it's for Kamari, it's the leadership piece of it. That's something we've really pushed him in some ways, kind of like Jaden on the offensive side, is 2 of your better players, 2 guys that we need to step up and be leaders that maybe in the past haven't always jumped to the front of the line to lead or to kind of to let their own personality kind of show within the defense or within the offense. And Kamari has really taken to that. He's become much more vocal with our guys, which I think has been important. You feel his presence more than just the way he plays, and that's been important for our defense. So he's had a great camp. I think our offensive players are glad they don't have to go against him anymore for a while.
Let's talk some more defense when we come back. Ready to take it to the next level. Unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy, Unleash the beast. And Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. That first game is coming up Saturday, USC versus Missouri State. It's a 4:30 kick. Trojan Tailgate Show will be live at 2:30 from a new spot. We'll be up in the Peristyle, so come visit us there. More with Coach Riley next on Trojans Live.
This is the ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network, presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
We get you ready for the kickoff of USC Trojans football Saturday at the Coliseum against the Missouri State Bears. Once again, more with head coach Lincoln Riley right now on Trojans Live. Once again, here's your host, Jordan Moore.
Hey, Trojan fans. Did you know the Ralph's app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons? You can earn fuel points to check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Ralph's, proud partner of USC Athletics and Stone IPA, has inspired a generation of brewers and beer lovers. Made in Southern California, Stone Brewing's first anniversary ale continues to be today's iconic West Coast-style IPA. Crisp, light-bodied, and packed with hoppy flavor. Located at find.stonebrewing.com. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, and the head coach, Lincoln Riley, kind enough to stay with us here for another segment. Coach, you wish college football had preseason games, or the NFL has these joint practices now so you could do it behind closed doors, or do you feel like you know enough about your team from camp in summer and spring that you know what's going to be out there on Saturday?
I would be a big proponent of the joint practices. I mean, I think you could do it regionally, be minimal travel. I've always thought that made too much sense. Each team ought to be able to do that one time. You get a chance to compete against somebody else, helps you evaluate your roster a little bit. I understand not doing the preseason games and all that. We're built a little bit different than the NFL. I get that, but the joint practices to me are like that would be just way too easy to do. It'd be awesome just for your guys to get some experience, and because again, the first game counts, it's real, and so you'd love to be able to have a little bit of competition before that.
Coach, defensively, last year under Coach Lynn for the first time, made some progress as the year went on, in different statistics, look better, but still need to take some steps. What are the areas that you'd like to see the defense take steps forward? Yeah,
I mean, that's been the kind of goal and the talk in our building has been, we were statistically the most improved defense in the country last year. That's great, but this isn't last year anymore. Now it's no, take that step to be one of the best defenses in the country, period. And so, yeah, I think a lot of it starts up front, like great defensive play does. And I think, we've added obviously some size, some depth there on the defensive line, and having the ability to control the run game more, having the ability to pressure or to affect the passer with 3- and 4-man rushes more is a big piece of that. And that's been something that, our returning players, the new players we added, our coaches, I mean, everything that we've done has been really geared towards, just being more impactful consistently on the defensive front. I do think the talent and depth at linebacker is going to show up. The length, it's a different looking group than a year ago, and the depth was a little bit of a question mark for us coming in, and I think is going to become a strength. We feel great about the safety position. I think we've got a group of safeties back there that I wouldn't trade for anybody. And I think how we come along, develop, stay healthy at the corner position will be a big kind of part of it as well. But I mean, this group is, you take a group that made all the improvements we did. I feel like it's a better roster. We obviously added some really great pieces on the coaching staff. I feel like we are very teed up to go have a great year defensively.
Coach, stepping away from the X's and O's a little bit, and I've tried to tell people before, but unless you've experienced it, it's hard to put into words how demanding both physically and mentally camp can be, and a season in general, right? You go straight from fall camp into 5 months of a season. There's a lot of sacrifices that are made, and the hardest part is stepping away from the family, right? And the time that you don't get to spend with them. You've got a great family at home with your wife, Caitlin, your daughters, Sloan and Stella. How important is it as a coach or for all your coaches to have a great support system at home so you can go out and do what you love every day?
Oh, vital. I still kind of – I don't know how somebody could do this job without that.
Yeah.
I mean, it pulls at you, and then there's kind of the you're in the public eye obviously a lot, and that can be good, but it can also bring its challenges too. And so now having those support systems is super important. And we've tried to do everything we can to adapt to living here in LA and still being able to have our families be a big part of what we do. And then I know we've talked, at other points, the hires that we made in personnel, with Chad Bowden and that entire team. I mean, some of that was to optimize other areas, but some of that also was to pull away a little bit from some of these coaches in a few areas where, you did have a little bit more of a life outside of the job and could be more present with family and spread it out a little bit, I guess, if you will. And so that's been a great part of those hires, and I think all of us are, rested, recharged, and ready, and certainly thankful for the support systems we have at home.
That's awesome.
You're listening to the head coach, Lincoln Riley, on Trojans Live. I don't think we've talked about the receiver position yet. You obviously have the two big names in Lemon and Lane at the top. What's next? Is there a clear, third receiver who's going to hop out there on the first play on Saturday? Is that more of an open competition for who's 3, 4, 5, those guys that we know you like to change up a receiver?
Yeah, I think that's certainly going to evolve. We're gonna play a handful of guys on Saturday, but I mean, guys like Zacharias Williams, Prince, Jay Fair, Tanook Hines, DJ Jordan, Jaden Richardson. I mean, those will be certainly kind of that first group of guys that we look at. But there's some intriguing skill sets there. There really is. There's some guys that have really made some moves in camp, and some guys that our quarterbacks and our coaches are very confident in. And so, yeah, I know obviously, we got a pretty good idea with Jacoby and Mackay about, the kind of players they are, and I think they've both improved as well. But we're not just gonna be a two-man show there. We've got some other guys that can play, and I think people are gonna see that pretty quick.
Coach, in the offseason, when I get around town, fans tend to ask me, "Hey, Shaun, what's going on? The Trojans aren't in the top 25. What's going on? Why aren't the Trojans in the top 25?" I'm like, a lot of that stuff is based off last year and records, and they don't account for what's going on here. Do you guys, talk about that with the team? Do you use that as, a chip on your shoulder? Is that like a underdog mentality kind of thing? Is that something you use, or is that something you don't talk about with the team? How do you handle that kind of situation?
Yeah, I think I trust my feel on it a little bit. I don't know that it's something that you can necessarily just have the manual and I'm going to use something like that every time or not. I think there's a time and place for it. The preseason stuff I've never got totally wrapped up into, because I've always said that's just something for everybody to talk about until there's actually football games. Yep. And then here in a couple weeks, nobody's going to give a damn about where anybody was ranked in the beginning, because it's not going to matter. So, but it's at the same time, are we aware of it? Are we excited to go show everyone the way that we're going to play? Damn right we are. Absolutely.
Well, here we go. Let's do it then. Saturday, USC versus Missouri State, 4:30 kick. Let's pack the Coliseum for that one and come visit us at the Trojan Tailgate Show. We will go on to 2:30. If you can't make it to the game is on Big Ten Network for the opener, and we'll be right here on ESPN LA 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. Thank you, Coach. Big exciting part of this team is this defensive front. Braylan Shelby is a big part of it, and he is next on Trojans Live.
The ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
We're back with Trojans Live.
It's a touchdown, USC.
On this Monday, August 25th, episode number 1 of Trojans Live. As we get you ready for Saturday's kickoff, time to check out the defensive side of the ball.
Gets it back to Reed. Shelby's got him and sacks him back at the 20-yard line. Braylan Shelby with a big defensive play, forcing a punt here late in the first half. Shelby's second sack of the season, 4th of the career for the true sophomore, Braylan Shelby.
We do it now on Trojans Live. Once again, your host, here's Jordan Moore.
The best of the game is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of USC Athletics, helping the world keep promises. It's USC's sack leader from last season, now a junior, Braylan Shelby, joining the show. Braylan, great to have you, man. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler. How's your camp been, man? What's been going on behind closed doors?
Man, camp's been great, man. I mean, it was a great opportunity to get out there with the guys. We really just started balling, like on a real note, like just being able to get out there, kind of move around again. You know, all the things we did on the off season. Whether that's the D line or the entire defense as a whole, just being able to get out there and just play again, all as a one unit was a really appreciative thing, and I really appreciated that.
You know, we were joking about it, I think, during the break here, and I remember the first time meeting you. It was on a recruiting visit, and we were trying to get you here, and I think you had a cut-off T-shirt or something, and you got a physique of a Greek god over there, and I'm like, man, we need that guy in the team. And now fast forward, it's your junior year. It's the big dog's time to shine, man. How fast has it gone, and what are we getting ready for this junior year?
Man, they don't lie. Time really flies. Time flies fast. Coming in as a freshman, you're looking up to a bunch of people, wanting to go out there and prove yourself, and now the stage is yours. I mean, it's my junior year now, and I mean, it's all out there. It's all out there, and it's what we need to go do. So yeah, this year's a very big year for me, a very big year for this defense, especially second year up under Lynn. We got a whole lot to prove. We made improvements last year, but I mean that was last year. Like this year, it's a whole new deal. It's a whole new thing. And we just ready to go out there and go show the world what we got.
You have two of the best defensive line coaches in the country, and Coach Nua and Coach Henney. What's it been like getting to learn from them since you've been here at USC?
Man, it's been the best opportunity available. You get the best of both worlds with them. Like Henney, his ability to, think about how the offense is going to run this play and what position, what's going to put us in the best position to be able to finish run, be able to get off of this rusher. It's everything, and Nua, he specializes with our edge mechanics and being able to serve, being able to read things very quickly, very fast, and those two are the best in the country, the best at what they do, and it's an honor to be up under. And that's how the whole D line feels.
Yeah.
You're listening to Braylan Shelby on Trojans Live, and this is USC, and competition is always preached year in and year out. Guys will say, "Hey, it's open competition. It's a tough room." But I'm looking at this defensive front, and this looks like a legitimately tough room. I mean, even for, a returner, a guy that's, has a lot of snaps under his belt, had the sacks last season, this seems like an elite room where people are going to have to really fight to get those money downs out there. A lot of talent, younger guys coming up, transfers coming in. How has that fueled you and pushed you this camp?
Man, it's pushed all of us. Just the amount of competition within the room. It's for the betterment of ourselves too. I mean, without having competition, you're not trying to go out there and do better for yourself. Or it's harder to do those things. So having great competition within the room is everything. It gives us something to compete for each and every day. Like me and Ken, we always try to focus on who's getting the most sacks of the day, or Ant, like all of the edges. Like that's something that we always strive for. Tackle for losses. Who's going to get the most points of the day? It's kind of what we do. So being able to have a great amount of competition in the room, spread out across the whole line is amazing, and it betters ourselves, betters our skill set, and it just allows us to get ready for the game better.
You've had a front row view to the offensive lineman at the tackle position. I'm sure you've gone against Elijah Page and Tobias Raymond and Justin. What's how those guys coming into form, and what do you expect to see from that offensive line and as they progress through the season?
Oh, I expect to see a whole lot from them. I got to see them improve each and every day, and being able to go up against them, get to work your different skill sets, different moves each and every day. And we're working back and forth with each other, trying to figure out which ways we can counter and helping them out on which best ways to attack and shut down certain rushes. So, I have a lot. I have a great amount of appreciation for them. And I see the world is theirs when it comes to playing this O-line. I expect the O-line to definitely dominate.
And you probably hate each other after a camp too. It's like I remember offensive line after a long camp. I'm like, God, I can't wait to stop going against these guys.
Yeah, at this point, man, we ready to get out there on the field and go against somebody else. 100%. But we just thankful and appreciated them.
You got a unique skill set as a pass rusher. Who's a guy you like to watch growing up, or maybe nowadays at the NFL? Who's a guy that you try to model your game after or take some stuff from when you watch them on film?
So Will Anderson's a big guy that I love to watch. There's also another. I always tend to forget his name. He's also on that Texan D line. I'm a huge Texas fan.
Yeah.
Houston.
Okay.
55. Cole rusher. I love watching Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Kind of those guys that, me and Nua, we kind of watch kind of different pass rush cut-ups, and he has a certain amount of guys that he likes to say my play styles kind of after. So those are the guys I love watching in and out each and every day.
So what's your fastball then? What's your move, your go-to?
Whoa.
When I look at it, Braylan Shelby, what am I going to see coming off with that fastball, man? What is that move?
Do we want to give that away right now, though, Shaun? Or are we trying to give the scouting report?
I mean, they got to stop it anyways,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. You know what? Let them know. Let them know it's coming, and they can't stop it.
Something I've been working on a whole lot recently, just speed chop. Make sure I flip my hips at the top, because the get off is the main part. Because if I'm already beating him off the get off, the chop, that low hand that he throws right there, that chop's going to give me no round. I'm going to turn them hips and I'm going to get right there to the cue. So that's something I love. Chop club.
There you go. And then you counter off that?
You said you're from Houston. Your hometown is listed as Friendswood, Texas, which I assume is just outside of Houston.
Yeah.
So I was looking up. You grew up not too far from the Space Center in Houston, which led me to this question.
Okay.
Would you rather go to outer space or go to the bottom of the ocean?
Oh, easy.
That's a great question.
Thank you, Braylan. That's what I'm here for.
Well, okay, look, the bottom of the ocean, no one's really been there.
That's right.
So people have already been to the moon. Yeah,
we think.
Yeah.
We think.
Wait a minute.
We think. I feel like if you go to the bottom ocean, you'd be the first one to really do that.
Yeah.
So that's a staple.
it.
That's a staple.
Nah, I'm going to outer space 11 times out of
there.
10.
Two astronauts.
That is wild.
Hold on. I
and
wasn't
a
done.
real
I wasn't done.
explorer.
All right.
I was just letting. That's pretty cool, but outer space is outer space, though.
But you don't. Who knows what's down in the bottom of the ocean?
I don't want to find out. I'll never find out. I go to outer space every single time.
Dangerous, man.
Look at Jordan pulling that question out of nowhere. I like it.
That's what I got for you.
It's a great question.
Braylan Shelby, thanks so much, bud. Good luck this season. Good luck out there on Saturday. USC versus Missouri State coming up, 4:30 kick. We're going to pivot here to Ines Derrien, USC women's soccer. They're way into their season. 3 matches already. They're 3-0. She's scored a bunch of goals already. She's next on Trojans Live.
Now on Trojans Live.
Henderson making that middle run. It flies overhead, finds Schornstein. Goal, however, on the loose ball. Right past O'Brien. That's a goal. The second one of the match for Ines Derrien.
Back to Heritage Hall and back to your host, Jordan Moore.
That guy was searching so hard for your name on his sheet, trying to figure out who scored that goal. Fight on, Trojans, and fly on with ONT. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to start planning your next vacation today. And don't wait until game time to plan for retirement. Open your free iTrust Capital account today and get your crypto IRA. iTrust Capital is the official cryptocurrency platform of the USC Trojans. We've got your name down. It's Ines Derrien. She's a sophomore in USC women's soccer. I'm Jordan Moore. That's Shaun Cody. That's Cody Kessler. You guys are 3-0. You're rolling. You played in every match last season. You scored 1 goal. You scored 3 goals already in 3 matches. Is the ball just finding you? Is your role changed? What's going on right now?
Well, first off, thank you for having me.
Great to have you.
But it's been amazing this season so far. We've started really strong. I think we've got 11 goals in the first 3 games as a collective. So everyone on the team's been starting strong. But last year we had a lot of seniors. I think 14 seniors, and I think 14 people left. So like this year, a lot of people are going into like new roles. But yeah, so last year was a bit more senior dominated, and now a lot of younger people are stepping into new roles.
Last year playing without a stadium, kind of out of a home field. This year you get into Rawlinson for the first time. Was it like last year having to do that, and then this year finally getting a new spot with a brand new sparkly stadium?
Yeah, I mean, last year we had a ton of away games, like flight after flight. But that's because, of course, we didn't have our home stadium. It was under construction. But thanks to like the Burns and Rawlinson's family, like now we have probably the best stadium in all of women's soccer college. So it's amazing. We have like the most pristine like locker rooms, like the grass, like everything, just the little details.
Last year you were named to the Big Ten All-Freshman team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the next step look like this year? Right? How do you build off of that early success and not become complacent going into year 2?
I think like everything you don't really focus on it like as an individual, like more just like how can the team get, like what can we do? Can we win another Big Ten championship? Can we like work really hard and hopefully, like win the national championship too? So it's more just like focusing not really on like individual successes on the team, but more just like as a collective, what can we do?
That's a veteran answer right there as a sophomore. I love it. Went straight from personal straight to team.
What is your role on this team? What have you carved out position-wise?
Well, so I play midfield, so that's sort of just like, helping the attack and on defense, but really whether that's just like assisting, passing, defending, scoring, like anything that the team needs is kind of what everyone's kind of working to do this year.
Have you always been a midfielder? You're very tall for a soccer player. I feel like they would have at some point tried to stick you in the back or maybe throw you up front.
Yeah, I mean, all the time people think I'm, like, if they see USC athletics, they think I'm volleyball or basketball. But, normally the tall ones are, like, center backs. Yep. But I think my entire life, for all I can remember, I've been center mid. Just, like, all the other center mids I've been with have probably been about 5'4". But... I mean, a 5'11", 6-foot defender, midfielder. I mean, there's not many of us.
What's the feel for this team this year? Obviously, a successful year last year. What's the feel so far? Obviously, early in the season here, but what's the feel for this year's team?
Well, like I said before, it's much younger, but I think the seniors last year kind of set the standard for us. But this year was, and in the spring it helped. We got a lot of chemistry, and we brought in some good transfers and freshmen. And I think this year we're just, we have a younger group, but I think, we're very talented and we kind of have the same goals that we did last year and even more.
As a midfielder, and I know a little bit about soccer, it's safe to say that you cover the most space on the pitch out there, correct?
Yeah.
Don't quiz me.
One of the top positions.
Right, you're running the whole match, right? And there's really not a lot of timeouts and breaks like there is in football and other sports. How difficult is that? I mean, what type of shape and what does the off-season training look like so that you're ready to go every game day?
Yeah, well, all throughout spring and summer, we did a lot of, like, fitness, a lot of beep tests, like sixes. You run, it's a lot of running. And then summer, you come in a month before the coaches can start practice, and it's kind of, like, captain-led. And it's a lot of just, like, playing to get chemistry and then a lot of, like, fitness. Like, every day you're, like, running some fitness. And then you come in the first day in our stadium, we ran the beep test. So it's just, like... There's like expectations and goals on what to get on the beep test, but you just got to make sure you have like really good fitness.
Can you explain the beep test to Shaun? I want to see him start sweating.
Yeah, I mean, you got to run. I don't know how far it is, but there's that automated, I think, a British voice, and he's just saying like you got to get there. It beeps when you should be at halfway, then you cut and you come back and you get there before the second beep.
I was a long distance champion, Jordan. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you're built
for the long distance.
One thing that Rawlinson allows you guys to do, which was never the case previously, was play games at night. Mm-hmm. Does it change anything playing soccer under the lights? Is it different in any way?
I mean, I don't think necessarily there's like a huge difference, but I think for the players, a lot of people I've talked to, I just like prefer night games. It feels like, and it feels more like intense, and it's and I like it more when it's like under the lights and it's kind of dark out. Yeah.
Certainly this time of year a little cooler too. It's not the worst.
Much better. We've had a 2 p.m. game yesterday, and it was quite hot, but like when it's at night, it's much better.
I got a great hint from producer Gia about you that you're a big chicken wing fan. Is there a flavor that you enjoy?
Real research.
A sauce that a condiment you enjoy with it? Could you take us elaborate on your chicken wing dreams?
I've tried a lot of chicken wings. I think my favorite is like a lemon pepper.
Yes.
That's like a classic go-to.
Like a dry lemon pepper, or like a more wet lemon?
I like it more like dry.
Okay.
But like not too wet. But I'm not a big fan on like sauces when it comes to wings.
Should we make this more of a hot ones situation at some point and just see if our guests can handle the heat?
Yeah, we'll sub her in for Cody.
Can you handle the spice?
Yeah, I
That's
can't.
what I'm doing. Like I used to have Wingstop, but like I've had to stop it, like because we're in season and stuff. But
Wink, wink. Yeah, no, yeah. We stopped.
You can run it off. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'm working my way up to like they give you different spice levels. I'm trying to get to like I think it's atomic. It's like 5 out of 5. I'm trying to get my way up there.
Yeah, that Da Bomb one, hot ones.
Yeah, count me out on that.
Seems
Producer Gia with the hint.
All right, it can't keep you out of the net so far. 3 goals in 3 matches. Keep it up. USC women's soccer has won Thursday against Portland. You can't look ahead, but if you want to, a week from Thursday, Stanford coming to Rawlinson. That is an old rivalry, obviously, and a great matchup when it comes to USC women's soccer. So next 2 Thursdays, get out to Rawlinson and check out USC women's soccer. Our football roundtable is next on Trojans Live.
The ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
This is Trojans Live on the ESPN LA Trojan Media Network. Time for the Football Roundtable with Shaun Cody and Cody Kessler. Once again, your host as we get ready for Saturday at the Coliseum. Here's Jordan Moore.
Want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart and Final. It's a free newsletter that'll hit your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. And Monster Energy, it's the official energy drink partner of USC. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, Keely Eure back with us for our round table. Welcome back, Keely. Great to see you as always.
Glad to be back.
A new season ahead. We're talking to Coach Riley. Something that I wanted to ask you guys that I was going to ask him but didn't get to. This team, is it possible that the defensive side is a little bit more interesting and exciting going into game 1 and what we could see than the offensive side? Or you guys still think that the identity of this team will be in the offensive side of the ball?
I think the identity, in my opinion, from what I know, and the unknowns versus knowns.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns, we should admit.
I lean towards this is going to be a defensive team. You add almost more than 600 pounds just in Keyshawn Silver and Jamal Jarrett. I think Lynn has so much more he can do up front than what he had last year, just depth experience-wise. And then, as you guys talked about with Coach Riley, Kamari Ramsey on the back end, I don't think he's being talked about enough in the sense that the experience that he has, the leader that he's become on this defense, and he's the guy who has the most experience at the collegiate level in Lynn's defense. So I just think overall the defense could be the real calling card for this team. And if Eric Gentry stays healthy, you can't not talk about that guy.
Yeah, I think you look at it, this roster on paper, and you see the depth on defense. What have they done up front? At the linebacker level, Gentry was probably the best playmaker until he gets hurt last year, and then Kamari coming back. So definitely, I think defensively, I think it's going to be interesting just to watch the offense because Lincoln Riley has always done a great job with quarterbacks and developing offense, and wants to be an offensive team. How does his coaching, his play calling change? Does it change? Is he willing to let the defense kind of thing? Because we've seen in Lincoln Riley's career, offensive teams with quarterbacks that are going to move the ball a lot, not really so much on the defense. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch him as a coach and how he develops as a play caller, or if it changes at all. So that's what you watch these games. I think it'd be interesting to see that aspect of it.
Yeah, if USC wants to compete for a Big Ten championship, if they want to be a part of the college football playoff, they have to dominate on both sides of the football. But being a former quarterback, in my opinion, that starts on offense. Lincoln Riley is still one of the best play callers and one of the best offensive minds in all of football. That has not changed. Now, I know USC wants to establish a run game this year. They want to make it a point of emphasis to run the football. But at its core, this is still a Lincoln Riley air raid type of offense that is at its best when it is dangerous, it's explosive, and it has the capability of scoring from anywhere on the field at any point in time. When they can put together those 3-play, 75-yard drives and take 30 seconds off the clock and finish in the end zone, they have to get back to that. Lincoln Riley's first 2 years, they averaged over 41 points per game. Last year, they averaged 30 points per game. You can argue that Big Ten defenses are tougher than the Pac-12. You can argue there's no Caleb Williams, all of those things. But now you have a year in the conference. And I expect Lincoln Riley, like Shaun was saying, to go back and game plan, to self-scout, to watch what worked and what didn't a year ago and address some things and make adjustments off of that. They need to get back to averaging 40 points per game and force these other teams in the conference that aren't capable of scoring a lot of points to try to keep up and play our style of football.
If they're going to do that, the quarterback play needs to be better than it
100%.
was last season.
100%.
So what do you want to see from Jade Mayava? Obviously, the competition in the first 2 weeks is not going to be at the same level that it will be at other points in the season. So what can we take from Saturday? What little things will you be looking for?
Are you talking about Jaden specifically or overall? Jaden. Yeah, with Jaden, I mean, the most important thing is, like Coach Riley mentioned, is decision-making. He has to protect the football. If he wants to take that next step at the quarterback spot, I need to see how he handles things mentally on Saturday. I also want to see him develop as a passer, right? Be better with his accuracy. Through 4 games last season, his 4 starts, he had a combined 58% completion percentage. That's not good enough. He has to be better. That starts with his footwork, but that's going to help him when it comes to the comfortability and understanding of the offense, right? Because once you get comfortable with progression, your feet will follow along, right? Eyes before feet, those things will help. I want to see him go through progression, step up in the pocket, keep a strong, firm base, and deliver an accurate, catchable football throw after throw. I also want to see him be a part of the run game. A big issue last year, or a big argument we all had for replacing Miller Moss for Jaden Mayava, was him being a part of the run game. He had 18 yards combined in 4 games. I know you count sacks, but it was really non-existent as him as a runner out of the backfield. And then the last thing, just show confidence and leadership. You've been waiting all offseason for this opportunity. Go out there, have fun, play free, and let it rip.
Outside of winning, what do you have your eye on for Saturday?
I mean, it ties into my first answer. There's so many unknowns for me when it comes to the offense. Now, you guys asked great questions, so I did get some answers from Coach Riley as far as running backs and offensive line, but definitely offensive line. I think we expected Reed to win out at center, and as Riley said earlier, it's still a competition between Keely O'Connor and John Ray Reed. So looking for that. Tobias Raymond, can he slot at guard? Can he slot at tackle? What will they like from him? I don't know. So definitely offensive line. Where's everyone going? And Coach Hansen talked about that they will have rotation in that first game. So we won't get an exact answer, but we'll at least see the variations that they like. Running backs, got to see them live. Curious, the new guys in the room, what they look like. And then, again, like you talked about, Jordan, that third wide receiver, who's that going to be? Who's in that room talent-wise? There's a lot of unknowns on the offense. So
it does seem like the second consecutive year where the bowl game, well, maybe not the most important bowl game in the world, is an offensive line springboard to the next year.
Yeah.
Killian obviously took his spot, and Justin Tuanu has become a guy that it sounds like he's really in the mix, and, again, wasn't until that bowl game. Sorry, Shaun. What do you have your eye on?
I'm going to be watching the defense. It's going to be – I think the next level of this defense, I'm trying to coax it out of maybe Braylan and Coach, is you got to make plays. It's as simple as that. Last year, I think they took the step of being in the right positions, right? That you had seen too many years before prior to Coach Lynn, just guys out of position, breakdowns on the back end, not in the right gaps. Like those kind of things kind of got solved last year, and we were, kind of a more sturdy in that sense. But the playmaking wasn't there. The sacks weren't there. Just 20-some sacks on the year.
Once Gentry got hurt.
Yeah, the sacks weren't there. 20
felt like it was
20-some sacks on the year. That's not enough. TFL's way down. He led the team in TFLs and played half the year. So it's just the playmaking wasn't there, and you need that on defense to be. If it wants to be a defensive group, that's how you got to make those plays and to make those spark plays on defense to set your offense up.
Who's a newcomer or a freshman that you can't wait to see out there in a USC uniform on Saturday?
I think the obvious answer is Jakeem Stewart. He's a guy who Coach Lynn is he doesn't give out praise just because, and Lynn has been very high on him, so excited to see him as well. And also Tinook Hines on offense, the incoming wide receiver, got a lot of praise in camp, so curious to see what he's like.
I want to see Longstreet. They better be rolling these boys. They better get the backups in. We want to see the backups.
Where Shaun breaks out his best in the game pick and goes with the backup QB and tries to steal a point.
Hey, you got to play the game. You got to play the game.
Done it before.
Yeah, I'm going Wayman Jordan. I've been extremely high on him since I saw that he was going to come over here to USC. I went and watched his tape at Hutchinson Community College, and I've said it before, the scheme that he ran there is going to transition perfectly to what Lincoln Riley does here. A lot of guard tackle pulling, a lot of tight end tackle pulling, so I think he's going to fit in perfectly. I do know that there are 3 talented backs in that room with Eli Sanders and Brian Jackson as well, so I'm curious to see how that rotation is going to be. Obviously, Coach Riley mentioned that Wayman will go out there first, but how many reps is he going to get? What unit's going to be out there with him? What's the offensive line going to look like while he's in there? But overall, I'm going to keep my eye on number 2 on Saturday.
We had a lot of fun talking to Prince Strawn. Were you on that show in the in the spring? He's an impressive looking dude. So he's another one. Again, we we've gone into so many USC football seasons being like, oh, there's 6 receivers. How are they going to get everyone the ball? Now it's like an NFL team where it's just like, we know the 2 guys that are going to lead the team in catches.
Better, I think.
Yeah,
it is right up until the point where, one of them can't go or something like that. And then it's like, there better be somebody else. And so, I'm looking to figure out who that is. And it's probably a newcomer from what we've seen. All right, Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. One final segment to come on Trojans Live. As Shaun said, this team needs to improve in defensive playmaking. Who will lead the team in sacks this season?
Ooh.
Remember, all answers are recorded and will be thrown back in your face at the end of the season.
I'll go first.
I'll go first. Okay. Anthony Lucas.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't going to say anything. I do like.
It wasn't even brought up. This is what I'm telling you. This defensive line has dudes on it.
Yeah.
I like Anthony Lucas. I like Braylan Shelby. I'm going to go Cameron Fountain, though. I've been hearing some great things in camp. Or did I just take yours?
No, you didn't take mine.
I'm on Team Cody.
Okay.
I was going to say Devin Tompkins.
Tompkins.
The
Little
way that
interior
they are
love?
talking about Devin Tompkins, skyrocket year is what Coach Henney said. So I will trust the man.
Don't sleep on Thanos. And also, Gus Cordova has been make some noise throughout camp as well. So there's some young guys that could step up.
Shaun, how will having that beef in the middle help the edge guys?
Oh, it's big because if those guys can take up 3 guys, then you get one-on-ones. That's basically what you want. And you want if you're watching from home and you're seeing guys win one-on-ones up front, if you're winning at 50% clip, let's say you're a batter and you're hitting 1 of every 2, that's winning football. You get above that, you're a Hall of Famer. You're below that, you're not doing it enough. So you need to see get those one-on-ones, and if those 2 big guys in the middle can hold up 3 guys, you got 2 one-on-ones in the end. That's where it's at.
We get to see it starting Saturday. Come visit us. We'll be up at the Peristyle. The Trojan Tailgate Show has a new set up there. Me, Shaun, Cody, Sewell will be there. Keely will be down on the field, and we will talk to you 2 hours before kick. Thanks to everyone for watching. The Trojans Live just getting started. Fight on.
Boom. This has been Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Kobe Lane at the 30 to the 20, 10, 5, gets away, and he's in. That's a touchdown, USC. 30 yards, Jacoby Lane, his 10th touchdown of the year.
Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. on 710 ESPN and on the all-new ESPN LA app. And follow us on the ESPN LA Trojan Media Network. Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Play Fly Sports on 710.